Hello, I'm Philip Brunelle, Artistic Director and founder of VocalEssence and organist choirmaster at Plymouth Congregational Church in Minneapolis. 12 years ago at VocalEssence, we started a program called Cantaré, which just means let's sing. I had been thinking that, there are a lot of composers down in Mexico. And how many did we know? Very, very few. And especially, what about choral music? So because of that, I went to Mexico and in fact have gone every year and interviewed composers who are interested in writing choral music. And each year, we've brought two composers from Mexico to the Twin Cities to write music for young people, both grade school and high school, as well as sometimes for college. And it has been a terrific experience, not only for them, but for us. And the one requirement I had was you can't compose something in English. It can be in Spanish or any of the indigenous languages of Mexico. And they've done that. And one of these composers is Jesús López Moreno. Jesus was here in 2009, 2010. He was, at the time, the principal organist at the Metropolitan Cathedral. If you've been to Mexico and you've been to the Zocalo in the middle, that huge old cathedral, which they began building in 1573 and finished in 1813. So it has many different styles within it: Gothic, Baroque, Neoclassic. It's built on top of an old Aztec temple, the Templo Mayor. And one of my trips there, Jesus said, "Hey, come on up, play the organ." Well, this is an organ, folks, from 1736. So it's a little different than organs today. But I said, sure. So I went up there. He pulled out a Baroque piece and said, "It's almost time for Mass. Why don't you play this for the prelude?" And I said, sure. So I remember playing the organ there at the cathedral. And then we, of course, kept up our relationship, and I had this wonderful music of his. He wrote, as I mentioned, a lot of things for young people. He has a children's choir. He has several, actually, in Mexico City. And one of the pieces he wrote was a piece for them called Clavelitos, which translates: "Little carnation, you open when morning comes. You close up when night approaches. Tell me if you know how much I love you, whether the birds have told you that you are my whole dream. Come poppies, daisies, lilies, come roses and jasmine to brighten my little carnation." So you can see that young children loved texts like that. So here is his setting, which was for soprano and alto and piano, Clavelito. Jesus now is the organist and the head music man, as they call it, the chapel master, at the National Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe. When you go to Mexico City, the cathedral, yes, is right downtown, but if you go out a little bit, of course, Mexico City is 25 million people. So it takes a little while, but when you get out to the Basilica of Guadalupe, it's this huge, amazing big place. And it has outside of it a meeting area that's immense. And I asked him, I said, so every year in December, when you have the feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, how many people come to see the relic of Our Lady? And he said, oh, about 2 million. So you get an idea of the size and scope of this place. So last year, when the ensemble singers were in Mexico City, we went to the Basilica, and everyone was astonished and thrilled to have a chance. We wanted to sing something. Now, the Basilica, there's an old basilica right next to it, which because of earthquakes, etc., has been a little bit on the shaky side, and so it now is no longer. That's why they built the new one, but you can still go to the old sacred basilica, which we did. And I asked if we could sing something there. They usually don't allow it, but the ensemble singers were given permission, and we sang the Ave Maria of Rachmaninoff. And people were gathered. It was a beautiful, memorable time for all of us. The piece that he wrote for actually for a high school here, but one that the ensemble singers have taken up, is a piece called In Peace, or En Paz. The text begins, it's the text of Amado Nervo, says, architect of life, architect of himself, so near to my end, I bless you, life, because you never gave me false hope, unjust work, or undeserved sorrow. For I see at the end of my rough road that I was the architect of my own destiny. And if I extracted honey or gall from things, it was because I myself gave them gall or delicious honey. When I planted rose bushes, I always gathered roses. So this is a little excerpt from this beautiful piece that we love to sing, En Paz. Have a wonderful day.